That's what you do every time you fail Expert Mission 15 Extreme Malice, but luckily I am here, my dear students, to show you how to grind out this mission and just pass it, because let's face it, who wants to do this mission more than once? So, without further ado, I'm going to show you how to use the new build and the new strategy defeating Expert Mission 15 Extreme Malice. Let's go! Stats time, stats time, stats time. First for the QQ Bang, it's a direct mirror of Beerus's clothing, giving 5 in Ki, Stamina and Ki Blast supers. The Super Soul is giving you so much Ki when you use your charging skill, and the Limit Burst gives you auto health and stamina recovery. Now for the attribute points, 125 will go into your Ki Blast supers for maximum damage, 84 into stamina for 2 extra bars, 84 into your Ki for 2 extra bars, and the rest you'll dump into your health. Next is the super moves. You will be using Maximum Charge, Drain Field, Audacious Laugh, Godbreaker. Your awoken skill will be Golden Form. Your first ultimate will be Soul Punisher, and your second ultimate will be Emperor's Death Beam. And your evasive will be Vanisher Guard. Expert Mission 15, Extreme Malice, everyone's least favourite expert mission, maybe except for Expert Mission 20. Your first enemy is Broly, difficulty rating 2 out of 5 Dragon Balls, Strengths, Gigantic Ki Ball and Auto Dodge. The first enemy is Supervillain Broly, and he's pretty easy to be honest. There's nothing about him that should even down any of the allies once. As soon as you get into the match, charge up your Ki, use Audacious Laugh to slow him down, and then transform and try and just spam your Emperor's Death Beam to get rid of him really quickly. His health is pretty low, he's got no extra defense, and his auto dodge doesn't work against Ki Blast supers. He doesn't really use anything other than Marbling Drop, and it's a really weak version of Marbling Drop, so you have nothing to worry about. Even if he does teleport next to you, chances are he's not even going to hit you anyway, and you can use your Vanisher Guard to evade it, or use Drain Field to absorb it. Once you get rid of Broly, the next enemy is about to come into the match, so charge up your Ki and revive your fallen allies. The next opponent is Omega Shenron, difficulty rating 3 out of 5 Dragon Balls, Strengths, Teleporting, Auto Dodge, Rage Saucer and Peerless Storm. The second enemy is Omega Shenron. He's a little bit more tricky than Broly is because he teleports around a lot and his auto dodge is pretty decent, but I mean other than that he's just a standard supervillain expert mission boss. Slow him down with Audacious Laugh and then just spam your Emperor's Death Beam to get his health down to absolutely nothing. He will use Marbling Drop, but it's a really weak variation. I wouldn't even consider it a threat because it never hits you anyway, and you've got to be really careless to be caught in it. Your team is more important in this mission than any other mission in the game, so you want to make sure that they're up at all times, and you can do this by spamming your normal basic Ki Blast, which will force him into auto dodge, essentially making him freeze on the spot and not be able to do a single thing. This will also interrupt all of his super moves, and you can interrupt his Rage Saucer with your Death Beam, but if you need him to just stay still and not do anything, spam your normal Ki Blast. He won't be able to do a thing. Even if he teleports around, just keep firing and firing until all of your team are up, ready, willing and fighting and distracting him. You can absorb Peerless Storm with Drain Field, but I've also found that on occasion, if the Peerless Storm hits exactly behind you, it can override this, so it's not entirely foolproof. But for this mission, it's good enough, and it works very well. As I've said before, distract Omega Shenron with basic Ki Blasts if your team is down or you need to get rid of some aggro, and then use your Emperor's Death Beam to deal a large portion of the damage, and absorb his supervillain moves with Drain Field. Once you have Omega Shenron down for the count, charge up as much Ki as possible. The next enemy is inbound, and it's Kid Buu, difficulty rating 2 out of 5 Dragon Balls, Strengths, Peerless Storm, Auto Dodge, and Gigantic Ki Balls. Kid Buu is actually not difficult at all. He's way easier than Omega Shenron, and he's about the same level as Broly in that he's not a threat. He's just kind of there to eat up time. But again, I mean, you're not going to be down. Your team's not going to be down by Kid Buu, and if they are, then something's gone horribly wrong. Slow him down with Audacious Laugh, and then just spam your Emperor's Death Beam. You will see that Kid Buu actually really enjoys throwing down gigantic Ki Balls. He might throw down 2 or even 3 during his time in this match. So get ready to use some Soul Punishers, if indeed he does use them. If he doesn't, just keep hitting him away with Death Beams and Emperor's Death Beams, and absorb the Peerless Storms with Drain Field. This is a good way to get immediately back into the fight and use another Emperor's Death Beam after absorbing his supervillain moves. Once he's down, charge up as much ki as possible. It's time for the next threat. And threat is the right word because it's Golden Frieza. Difficulty rating 4 out of 5 Dragon Balls. Strengths: gigantic ki ball, auto dodge, a ridiculous marbling drop, aggression and high ki damage. He is the main boss of this mission. There is no mistaking it. Golden Frieza is probably the third hardest boss in the entire realm of expert missions, coming only second to Ember in expert mission 19 and Deborah in expert mission 20. Golden Frieza's marbling drop is ridiculous. Slow him down as soon as you can with Audacious Laugh to make sure that he's a bit less of a threat than he was before. You can also stall him with basic Ki Blast if your team is downed and needs to be revived, and then just do the bulk of the damage with Emperor's Death Beam. But keep in mind, he has his own Emperor's Death Beam, but you can stall him and force him out all of his supers and ultimates by using basic Ki Blasts, forcing him into auto dodge. And just with every other supervillain, the Peeler Storm and the Marbling Drop can be absorbed with Drain Field. Just be wary that the occasional attack might hit you from behind, which doesn't get absorbed by Drain Field, but for Expert Mission 15, where it's not as hard as say 19 or 20, you don't really need to use something like Super Guard. You can absorb the attacks quite happily. When he's on low health, a good chance that he's going to throw down a gigantic ki ball, which is what you've got Soul Punisher for, an easy 5 ki bar instant knockback of this gigantic ki ball, and probably finishing off Golden Frieza at the same time. You can charge your ki during this cutscene, so make sure that you're doing that because it's free time to charge up your ki, and you'll probably get a full ki bar even if you don't beat him. Get rid of Golden Frieza and activate your Limit Burst to recover all of your allies' health because it's time for Ember. Difficulty rating 3 out of 5 Dragon Balls. Strengths: Marbling Drop, Auto Dodge and Peeler Storm. Yeah, Ember is not as difficult as Golden Frieza, but he can be a bit tricky. He's got a lot of health, he's got Auto Dodge, and his supervillain moves are a bit difficult to combat in that he's got the generic Peeler Storm. His Marbling Drop looks like it's pretty terrible, but occasionally he has Golden Frieza's Marbling Drop. It's not consistent. It might be terrible, it might be amazing. So you have to treat every single Marbling Drop as if it's the end of the world and you have to absorb it straight away. As you can see, he's using a very terrible variation of Marbling Drop. Don't be in the vicinity or you'll get attacked from behind. But later on you're going to see him using quite a different version, which is just as bad as Golden Frieza's and Deborah's. He doesn't use Mind Control, so don't worry about that. He just uses Peeler Storm and Marbling Drop. Really the main threat is his supervillain Marbling Drop that's on par with Golden Frieza's. Just keep using Emperor's Death Beam and your normal Death Beam, absorbing all the supervillain moves with Drain Field. Get all of your allies off the floor that happen to be hit. There we go, that's the variation that you do not want to come across. Most of the team will get down by this. Just revive all of your allies as and when you can. You do not want to be on the receiving end of that Marbling Drop when you're the only one left, because that's game over. This is probably where a lot of the frustration comes with this mission, is that Marbling Drop from Ember and Golden Frieza will one-shot the entire team. So absorb it with Drain Field, distract him with your basic Ki Blast so the rest of the team can be revived. Just be super wary whenever you see that blue aura of when he's going into his Marbling Drop. And as I said earlier, be super wary of being in this Marbling Drop's vicinity because you can be attacked from behind. Drain Field will not save you, and neither will attacking directly in front of you with Emperor's Death Beam. So be super wary and get out of there as soon as he goes into his Marbling Drop. When he's on low health, get ready for the last Emperor's Death Beam to finish him off once and for all. Or are you? Because he's going to blast you away into another arena. If you happen to be caught in this with all your teammates down, you will stay and fight Ember, but don't worry, you can clutch that out. You'll have 2 more enemies to fight. You'll have to fight Majin Vegeta, and once you defeat him, you'll go into the caverns and fight off against Toa. Both of them are really easy. Vegeta's super aggressive, so that makes him really predictable. The only thing that will put a spanner in the works is one of them using their evasive, which, I mean, you can't really counteract that unless you get their stamina down, and really just spamming supers and ultimates is the easiest way of getting them down quickly, so you're going to have to put up with that either way. Charge up all of your ki and go into the caverns, or the underground lake, whichever. They're the same thing. Yes, they are. After a few seconds, Toa will come in, and she's going to show you something nice. Is that the expert mission finished? That would be nice. Nope, it's not. So it's not something nice. She was lying. What a silly sausage. Toa's evasive is going to be a real problem because Science Vanish just makes her disappear for ages, so you will have to get her stamina down, stamina breaker, and then just pound her into the floor, no pun intended, with your Emperor's Death Beam. Once the portal opens up, you're about to fight Ember, so charge up all of your ki and get ready for one last final ultimate attack. As soon as you come in, lock on, make sure you're not locking onto one of your downed allies, which can happen, and then shoot off your last Emperor's Death Beam, and then go and revive as many teammates as you can for the last enemy. Your final opponent is Final Form Mira, difficulty rating 3 out of 5 Dragon Balls, strengths, Peerless Storm, fast combos, gigantic keyball, high health and aggression. Mira is part of the ultimate finish, so if you've done the rest of the mission quick enough you'll fight him, if you haven't then you won't. But you can distract him like any other auto-dodge expert mission villain by using your basic ki blasts, do the bulk of the damage with Emperor's Death Beam if you can, but I would probably advise hanging back if you've got enough time. If you've got several minutes, just use your Death Beam. Just hit him with the Godbreaker if he gets too close, or use your Evasive if he gets too close. You need to distract him so your enemies can take the aggro off you. Just whittle his health down. He's got loads of health, but, an Audacious Laugh will slow him down, because he is really quick, and it would be nice for him to have an average speed for once. So use your Audacious Laugh, hit from a distance, keep the aggro off you, distract him when your allies are down so that they can be revived, and absorb all of his supervillain moves. You will probably find he will hit you once or twice, because Mira is really quick and really crafty, and even though you are prepared with this build and this strategy, it can't counteract the random teleportation and the supervillain moves that catch you off guard. If you are downed, it's not the end of the world, because Mira, even though he's fast, he's not going to one-shot the whole team unless everyone's on super low health and uses Peerless Storm. So you can always clutch it out. Even if you're the last one there, you can still use Godbreaker, you can still use your Evasive. There's a chance that even if you all go down except for you can still clutch it out. Your Evasive is there to distract and also protect. He protect, he distract, but more importantly, he attack with basic ki blasts to make him use auto dodge so that the rest of your team can be revived. This is complete immobilization, it works every time. Transformed or not, basic ki blasts will stop him from moving or doing anything. This specific part of the strategy, using basic ki blasts to force him into auto dodge, is just what makes this mission a lot easier than I think it actually is considered, because you can just immobilize every enemy without any ki, without any stamina, and they just stay on the spot, not doing anything. Your allies can all be revived, and yes, sure, the entire team can be one-shotted by Ember and Golden Frieza, but you can also get them all revived by completely immobilizing any enemy. And that's how to defeat Expert Mission 15, Extreme Malice. It's tip time! Oh, goody! It seems to be a matter of chance whether or not the enemies throw down gigantic keyballs, which is why you've got Soul Punisher. Pretty much all of them have the chance of doing it, but they might not do it at all. I mean, it really depends. Kid Buu likes to throw down multiple if he throws down any at all, so just get prepared to use either none or quite a few Soul Punishers. Like I said, with Ember, his marbling drop is either terrible or ridiculous, so treat every single one of them like a disaster and get ready with your drain field, because you never know if it's going to be either or. When it comes to using drain field, be wary that you can still be attacked from behind, and when it goes down obviously, so you don't want to be in the vicinity of any of the marbling drops. Unless you absolutely have no choice, you want to remain at a safe distance. You also absorb a lot of ki from the marbling drops, especially the ones that come straight for you, like Golden Freezers and the really good Ember one. Marbling drops that bounce around can attack you from behind if you're in the vicinity, so get out of there if it's not a direct marbling drop that hones in on you. All supervillains, supers and ultimates can be interrupted by forcing them into auto-dodge by spamming your basic ki blast, so keep that in mind. And Godbreaker is decent for getting them away from you, and you can clutch this out. I will show these clips now because I'm just pretty pleased with them, to be honest. I was on offline, I was facing off against Golden Frieza, the entire team got one-shotted by his marbling drop, and I clutched it out, yes I did. And then Ember came in, he one-shotted the whole team, and I clutched it out again. So even if you're the last one standing, there's always hope, because this mission is actually easier than you remember it. Drain Field is amazing, Emperor's Death Beam is stronger than it used to be, you have Soul Punisher for gigantic ki blasts, and just pretty much everything in this mission is counterable with an easy method I have described in this strategy. So, I will allow you to see the rest of these two clips of clutching out Golden Frieza solo in offline and Ember solo in offline, and I shall return in a moment.
What the world is going on? It seemed to just come out of nowhere.
This has been my guide on how to defeat Expert Mission 15, Extreme Malice. If you would like guides on other Expert missions, let me know, but until then, stay tuned for the next exciting episode of AxoniusRex.